sure you ask whatever you want. This is your chance to bug the crap out of them. That's why I've got them here today. Okay? Another interesting little note that I found out from Jennifer Penn at the University of Garnet Ward last night, which is really exciting for us. The national average for people with Parkinson's to actually exercise and do physical therapy is what? 7%. Guess what it is in our city? 70%. Pretty exciting, right? Also, to be very, very proud, when we started this little thing called SA Moves 9 years ago, we had 150 members and maybe 5 or 6 people on the board. Today you've got 42 board members, 1,200 members, 33 sponsors. We are now the largest regional foundation in the country. Pretty impressive, huh? We had something that we've been working on, Corey's been working on, and we're very lucky to have the Longoria team working on doing a promo video that we want to start using. And it's not all done yet. There's a lot more stuff we want to add to it, but it's done at least enough that we can start being proud of it, and we want to show it to you this morning.
Parkinson's is an equal opportunity disease, and as a result, it's a community-wide problem, and it's a problem that's definitely solvable. The right support is necessary to solve the problem, and that's the function of SA Moves, is to provide support and resources to organizations that are tasked with caring for movement disorder patients. We offer educational seminars and exercise classes and social programs to a variety of organizations here in South Texas to create a community of care that helps people with movement disorders live better lives.
The SA Moves website is very user-friendly. It's a powerful tool for caregivers and movement disorder patients to facilitate the search for quality local doctors, resources, and activities vetted out by people who care. We even have a calendar filled with events and activities that help treat movement disorders.
I found SA Moves because of Corey King. He and I have been friends for 20 plus years. And I knew that he had Parkinson's. And when I first found out that I had Parkinson's about 3 years ago, the first person I called was Corey. And I just didn't know anything about it. Literally did not know a thing about it, even though my father and grandfather had Parkinson's. Corey and I both were very successful doing boxing, but it did not solve my biggest issue, which was neuropathy and numbness in my feet. And I had no feeling from my kneecap to my big toe on either foot. So I was walking in cement shoes. I said, so what are we gonna do? He goes, you can't do anything, there's no cure. And my daughter and wife have been doing Pilates for 7 years and said, Dad, I have no idea, but I think it may help. Went to Pilates, and she, within 10 minutes, had me take off my shoes and was feeling my ankles, my toes, and my feet. She never said, I think I can fix this. I think it was 6 months, I could move 3 toes on each foot. And then at the end of about 9 months, I could curl all 10 toes like a monkey. But I've only fallen twice since I started doing Pilates, as opposed to twice a week. And I have my own pinky ball, and I do that at home. But if you were to ask a physical therapist or a neurologist or kinesiologist, have you ever heard of a pinky ball? The answer is going to be no. But the people in the Parkinson's community for Pilates does.
The internet can be very overwhelming, and sometimes it's hard to know what article or resource to believe. We have several tabs dedicated to connecting you to the most reliable organizations and articles that have been carefully read and researched just for you. Our News and Journals tab shares the latest and greatest news on movement disorders. It's carefully curated to bring you the most dynamic articles and news updates. Think of it as a shortcut to everything you need to know.
They just give you the information and you're allowed to decide what to do with that information. That's what SA Moves, I think, does a wonderful job at. We were not so much interested in sitting around in a kumbaya circle so much as we were interested in getting our questions answered. The one thing that I would say to the caregivers is don't give up on your loved one who has Parkinson's if motivation is an issue. If you can find your way to negotiate around what the roadblock is for getting them to exercise, or getting them to take better care of themselves, or getting them to do something that's going to help them eventually, keep at it.
I know a lot of people, since they become Parkinsonian, that don't do anything. And they go from not doing anything, to I see him in a cane. Then I see him in a walker. Then I see him in a wheelchair. I saw what boxing could do, because they would show up in a wheelchair with an aid, and then 4 months later, they're in a walker. And then 4 months later, they're in a cane. And 4 months later, they're without a cane. They're just walking into the boxing and then dragging their cane behind them. So it's exercise. Exercise heals. And you can say, well, there's no cure. I know that, okay? But I can be treated. And that's what Pilates has done for me. It is a treatment. So the disease is treatable, but not curable.
You are not alone. We're here to remind you that you belong. We love hearing and sharing the good, the bad, the happy, the sad. We're here to empower each other to become the best versions of ourselves. So click and share your story today.
I've done a lot of things in my life. I've been a scientist and engineer. I've been a military officer. I'm a father and a husband. And I've discovered that I'm a person with Parkinson's disease. So I've become an advocate and a cheerleader and a fundraiser in the quest to help people with Parkinson's live better lives. Our goal is to be your trusted source of information about movement disorders. The SA Moves Foundation is here for you. Let us help.
On that note, the purpose of SA Moves is to support all of the various support groups that are throughout our region, and a lot of them are here and represented today. So make sure that your group gets with Corey, gets with myself, gets with one of the board members, so that we have all the most accurate information on the site where you're concerned, so that we're promoting all of your events. And make sure that we know about them, because we also fund them. We also give you the money that you need to help get your group going. Okay, we're going to get started. Welcome. I think most of you know who I am. I got the biggest mouth in the room, right? Okay. We're not possible without our sponsors. This year we're lucky to have 33 of those. It's our largest year of sponsorship yet. We want to thank Amnio, Neurology Associates, Synovian and US World for being our platinum sponsors, Acadia, Medtronic, and Teva for being our gold sponsors. I'm not going to read all those names. I'm going to leave it long enough for each one of you to see it, but let's give a round of a hand. And are utilizing the space because the sponsorship booths are actually in the room. So if you need to stretch your legs, you want to go do a little workout still in the playground, just be respectful of the conversation that's going on, and please get up, take a little break when you want to, bathroom break, and go down and work out in the sponsorship area. Everybody was given tickets. If you weren't, we'll get the volunteers to run around and make sure that you got a ticket for, I'm gonna let Corey explain to you, as every year we give something away. It's not a TV this year. It's actually something a little better. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Corey King, our president, with whom I would be lost without.
I look out at this room and I'm shocked by the number of folks that are here. I think this is great. I remember about 5 years ago when we were all jammed together in Maggiano's restaurant, about 125 of us, packed together like sardines, and things have moved on since then. So thank you for coming today. So what is SA Moves? We were chartered in 2013, and we fundamentally have two goals. Our two goals are to enhance the quality of life and to improve the quality of care for patients and caregivers who are managing movement disorders. Now, from a quality of life perspective, we manage and provide programs to help caregivers and patients. We do things like educational opportunities like what's going on here today. We provide speakers to national and local conferences and support groups. We provide social and exercise opportunities. We sponsor new programs. We sponsor existing programs. We support groups. And we also offer other kinds of resources, both financial and non-financial, to make sure that the community of care that we're trying to create in San Antonio is as robust and as well resourced as it's possible to be. And the whole goal here is to help you live a better, more fulfilled life. And so we hope that we're doing that. But from a quality of care standpoint, we have an organization that's actually a sub-organization called CREED, and that stands for Community Research, Education, and Events for Movement Disorders. And that's a peer-to-peer medical outreach organization from doctors and other medical professionals like Dr. Papert and Dr. Alvarez, and actually many of the folks that you see up here on the platform today, that deliver a program to reach out to other medical professionals on a peer-to-peer basis and improve the level of understanding in the medical community about movement disorders and how to manage them from a medical perspective. So, next slide.
It's on the sorry.
Look at that. So we started off with two people, Eric and Tony, Dr. Papert and Tony Chambers, in 2013. And now, as Tony mentioned, we've got 42 members on our board of directors. And rather than read off all of their names, if you're on our board of directors, I'd like to ask you to stand and be ready. These folks are selfless and smart and service-oriented, and they also don't get paid. So that's an important thing. This is an all-volunteer organization, and I think the results of that all-volunteer organization are pretty astounding. And I'm astounded and very, very grateful to be a part of this community. And I just want to thank my board of directors profusely for all the hard work that you do and all the sleepless nights and nightmares and difficult times that we go through in order to put events like this on. From a quality of life and quality of care perspective, obviously there are things that we do to manage our disorders, to manage our conditions, to manage the issues that we deal with during the course of our lives. There's medical support, things like medications and other treatments, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, surgical options, but there are also things like exercise and lifestyle choices. Just an aside on lifestyle choices, the dessert that you're getting is fruit, and that's because the doctors are watching. So that's just another lifestyle choice. And the point here is that there are a lot of things that we can do. There are a lot of options for managing our disease. Some of those things work, some of them don't. Some of them are based in science and good analysis, and some are not. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about what works and what doesn't. We're going to talk about proven treatments in snake oil. We're going to give you some tools that you can go forward with to manage your condition in a way that gives you hope and faith in the future, but also doesn't dash that hope against the rocks of reality too often. So, along those lines, what I'd like to do is introduce you to a good friend of mine and a colleague for 25 years, and someone who has a pretty good story to tell about something that's worked for him. I'd like to introduce you to Jim Morris. He's going to talk to you about his experience.
Check. Anything?
A little closer.
No. Now? So, I'm Jim Morris. If you have a presentation, you don't have a title. My title is Going from Bad to Better in 2018, not bad to worse. Bad to worse is not an option for me. It should not be an option for you. Many of you in the audience I have seen go from bad to worse. I met you when you first were walking, then you had a cane, then you had a walker, now you're in a wheelchair. If you're not here, you're probably at home in bed. So it's not an option. This is not a scientific or mathematical or medical-based study. It had one subject, and that was me. I basically have documented what I went through in the last year and the successes that I've had. So my daughter and my wife have been doing Pilates for 7 years. I continued to fall. I hurt myself. And they were going to go on a month-long trip this past October. This is February. And my daughter said, "Dad, we need to go do Pilates. I think it could help." I was very skeptical because, after all, Pilates is a girl's exercise. I had a trainer at Lifetime, and I also boxed with Steve. And I boxed with Steve for a long time. He was very successful at it, and I had an accident, and I'll tell you about the accident. So I have Parkinson's disease. My dad and my grandfather had Parkinson's. I have diabetes, and that's on my mother's side of the family. So I have 2 trees that are not exactly real good for stable health. But I have longevity in both sides of my family. My father lived to 93, my mother is still alive at 95. So if I'm going to live long, I don't want to be crippled. That's my goal. So how did I find out I had Parkinson's? I was at a friend's house here in town, and we were talking, we were joking, and there was time to leave, and I went outside and I couldn't find my car keys. We looked all over for my car keys, went to search his house, outside, and finally my wife, called my wife, she was not real happy, and I said, "Can you bring the spare set of keys over to Jim's house?" So she did. And then I drove home, she drove home in her car, and went inside and was going to watch TV, was going to put my feet up on my ottoman, so I took my shoes off. This is not show and tell, this is a training day. So when I took my shoes off,